It's after midnight, and it's time for conversations about love, family, friends, sex, and life. It's Love and Life with Carol Riddick and Donavan West, only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. How are you all? It's been a minute. Welcome to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. It's been, I missed y'all. I have so missed y'all. But let me tell you, I know you see that I'm alone. I'm by myself. My counterpart, he's not going to be here with us today. I am sad, but he does send his love. Donavan sends all of his love to each and every one of you, and he wants you to know that he misses you as well. What can I say? There's been so much going on. So much has taken place. So much is still taking place, but you all know that we love you. And we're keeping all of you in our prayers and all of that good stuff. And we hope that all is well with and for you. And just in case your light is a little dim, just know that we're sending you some extra love, okay? Because everybody could use a little extra love every now and again. I know I can. So with that being said, as I said, there's so much going on and so much taking place. Today's guest, well, y'all know I'm excited. I'm always on 10. But today's guest is, I can't wait for you to meet her and to take part in the conversation that she and I are about to have. There's just been so much going through my mind and going through my spirit as it pertains to life and the world and what's going on with it. And as it pertains to protecting myself, that's been a recurring conversation amongst me and my sisters and my friends and family and all of that good stuff, just as I'm sure it has been with you. I think we were living in a day and age where it was kind of taboo to talk about protecting yourself as a woman, but now it's a new day. It's a new dawn. It's time to live differently, if you will. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's where we are. So with that being said, today's guest is going to talk with us about that, about doing just that, about women protecting themselves. First, we're going to find all about her from where she comes, but she's going to share with us some information about her empowerment movement, because that's what I'm calling it. She didn't say that, but I'm saying that because I felt empowered when I heard about her and what she's doing. So without further ado, so I don't talk y'all to death, please welcome our guest, none other than Robin Evans of Chicks with Triggers. Hey there, lady.
Hey, how are you?
I will not complain. You hear me? I won't do it. First, let me say thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to say us
for having me.
Donovan's here in spirit. No, are you kidding me? When I don't even think it was a conversation, it was a statement. We have to have Robin, and it was just like, yeah, we do. That was it.
And I'm here.
You are here.
I'm here for it.
Wait, family, I should let you know that Robin and I, we had some offline conversation. When I tell you, we're already family. She didn't know this because she doesn't know. So I'm telling you, and I'm telling her at the same time, we're related because I've claimed her. Okay.
My cousin on my daddy's side.
There you go, on the daddy's side. On daddy's side. On daddy's side. But that's right. But Robin, I would like for our family members, just to get away from my silliness, for you to let them know from where you come. Tell us a little bit about you, please.
So, hey, y'all, I'm Robin. I'm a Capricorn. I enjoy long walks on the beach. But I'm down here in South Carolina. And I love guns, y'all. I'm here for women. I'm here to support women's movement. I'm here to help y'all stop getting, beat up and murdered and raped and everything like that and everything in between. But I have been dealing with guns since I was about 17 years old. My father, who is a retired NYPD officer, he actually got me started with guns and took me to the range and got me shooting. And from there, I've always learned how to defend myself. He's always seen the worst in the world. Being a cop, he's always seen the most danger in the world. So he's always made sure that we were able to take care of ourselves, whether it be with martial arts and knives or guns or whatever the case may be, a chopstick if we have to. But he's always made sure that we were able to take care of ourselves. And a lot of women weren't afforded that opportunity. And so that's where I come in. So I'm here to help them get on the path that I'm on.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. So I come from I'm on your daddy's side. So I come from the same thing. I had so many cousins and family members, uncles who were police officers. So I have that in my background as well. And they were always talking about being, being mindful of your surroundings.
Right.
I mean, since I was little,
you have to be so vigilant, especially now, because it is absolutely insane. It's getting crazy by the day. You never know what you're going to walk into. You never know what you're going to see on the news. It is absolutely insane.
You are so right. I just saw something new maybe 2 days ago. There was a social media post about the different ways that women are being targeted.
Yes.
I was unaware of the zip tie. So I saw that and something about
the zip ties and the napkins and
the roses. And there's just so much. So
right.
much.
And then right now, human trafficking is at an all-time high. Last year alone, it was over 16,000 people that were human trafficked. It's absolutely ridiculous. So women, we are under attack right now in every way, shape, and form. We are under attack. So we got to start learning how to fight back.
I keep saying it, and it's a shame because we feel like we're removed from it. But we're not. We're right in the middle of it. I listen, I was telling Donovan, I said I was followed in my car a couple of weeks ago. Last year, a van pulled up next to me. I was walking my dog, and well, she's not my dog, my daughter, but my canine, my fur daughter. I was walking my fur daughter, and this white van pulled up. Two men were inside, and the guy said, "You come here for a minute. Come here for a minute." First of all, that would be a negative, but in any event, the next thing I see on the neighborhood app is that there's a white van with two men that is kidnapping women. And maybe a half hour later, after I finish, this is the world in which we're living right now.
And your guardian angel was up and awake.
Every single one of them. Did you hear me? Every single one. All of my angels were in full effect in that moment.
Right.
Every single one of them. Praise God. Thank you. Because listen, family, I talk to God all day, every day. So let's be clear on that. But I'm always grateful and don't mind saying thank you. Because I am. There's so much, that is going on. But I have friends, I have family members who've been affected in other ways that, were victims of certain circumstances. So I'm glad to hear that you too had that ear, daddy said, come on, put the doll baby down just for a minute.
He's always been about it. And so I jumped right on board and I haven't looked back since.
I love it. So let me ask you this. You said, wow, your father was a police officer. So,
and he also does martial arts. He's a grandmaster in modern jiu-jitsu. So he does martial arts. So, I mean, we all about kicking ass, So
I love it. Wait a minute. Are you an only child?
No, I have a brother.
Just the two of you. Oh, you two. Oh, so you are.
And a nephew. Yeah. But he's
okay.
He's
so y'all in Army.
23, 24. He's 20 something. Yeah.
He grown. So y'all are an Army. Y'all are a small Army.
Yes.
So are you a martial artist as well?
Well, I've always been into self-defense and stuff. Like now I'm primarily gun. Like I love guns, right? Guns. We do knife fighting, stick fighting, everything like that. So if you don't have a gun, that's another class that we offer. So if you don't have a gun, or for those women who are not ready to carry a gun, what else can we use? So we teach them how to use knives and how to be most effective. So we have like medical backgrounds as well. My father is now a physician. And so we use all of that information to know how can we be most effective, because sometimes you only get one shot. You only get one shot with that knife. You only get one shot with that gun. You get that stick. You got one shot. How can we be most effective?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Your father is He's a superhero. That's what you didn't say.
Not all heroes wear capes.
There you have it. I'm saying, you said he's a doctor. I mean, oh my goodness. That's amazing though. I applaud him. I applaud him. I applaud him.
Thank
You know,
you.
for teaching you all, for instilling all of that in you. How now, you said at a very, very, very young age, he said, okay, let's take this seriously.
Yeah, especially when I was about to go off to college. That's when it really got serious. Because a lot of people, and I tell people this all the time, especially for the girls that I know that are going off to college now, I tell their parents all the time, get them into some type of self-defense class, because you think that you're sending them off to college for like an education and everything, but they're going to have so many more experiences. And there's so much that goes on at these college campuses that people don't even know about. And when I started Chicks with Triggers, I went to a college called Coastal Carolina University here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And so many women reached out to me from Coastal when we were all there together and said, I wish we would have knew that you was into this when we were there, because I was raped or I was sexually assaulted. I mean, at least 10 women have reached out to me and said, this happened to me while we were at college. And I had no idea. But again, you know, just a lot of people have no idea what has happened to other people. And these are your friends, the people in your circle, and you have no idea what they've been holding in and dealing with.
That there's not a truer statement that you could have said. There's so many of us that have been victimized and are carrying it.
Right.
Are carrying it.
But I'm here to let you know, you ain't got to do it alone anymore.
So so now you said something that touched my heart. You said, I'm a knife. You said you're a gun girl. I'm a knife and a gun girl. Okay. Not many people know. Family, I know what y'all are saying. Y'all are saying, Carol. Yeah, I know. But let me tell you,
Carol was in the streets like this.
They did. That's what they are saying right now. But when I tell you, listen, y'all know the Riddicks. Y'all just didn't know everything about the Riddicks. But I do. And everybody that knows me, anybody that has spent enough time with me and has had a long enough conversation, knows everything about my knives and my gun. So, but I'll say this. I mean, I do take it so serious. I do take it seriously. I laugh because I do see the humor and everything too, because I know there's so many of my family members that are saying, I just don't believe this. But please know that everything that Robin was just saying has so much truth to it. And you all know, family, I'm by myself a lot of the times. Here I am, you know, moving about in this world. There's so much, as you were saying, Robin, there's so much that you come across. There are so many experiences, and I've had a lot of those experiences.
Right.
And too, just being a woman makes you even more vulnerable in this world, because there are a lot of predators who know that a lot of us are not equipped, who know that a lot of us are not thinking, you know, about being victimized, you know, so they prey on us.
Right. And you know what? And sometimes it's the people closest to you. Sometimes it's your neighbors. You'd be surprised how much your neighbors pay attention to your business, how much they know when you come home, when you're not home, who's there, who's not. You'd be surprised who watch your movement. So I always tell people that too. Like, don't think that just because you live in this nice neighborhood that there's not predators in here. Like, don't you dare for a second think that, or that old man next door. Don't think just because he's so sweet, you don't know what he's into. You have no idea. And I think that a lot of women are so trustworthy. They see somebody and they say, oh, well, he seemed nice. And oh, he held the door for me. And, you know, so much chivalry. You don't know what he's going. You don't know what's going on in his head. So I tell people all the time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't trust anybody.
You just told all my business. Let me tell you.
I didn't mean to put you out there like that, girl.
Well, if it's going to help somebody, I don't mind. If it is going to help somebody. I mean, I was actually robbed by two guys. One guy had just tried to talk to me. He said, can I walk with you? You know, hey sis, can I walk? You so pretty. You know, can I walk with you? And I said, I'm good. Thank you so much. I get a half a block. This other guy's coming toward me. He attacks me. He yells out, and the guy who just tried to talk to me.
Yeah,
he comes to help him. So now, mind you, this was some years ago, but it happened, and it is still happening. And now we're in the day and age where more things are happening. Now, then I was robbed. We're talking about carjackings now. We're talking about robberies now. We're talking about, like you said, human trafficking. I want to talk about Chicks with Triggers. First of all, I love the name. I love the name. This hour goes by so fast because I could talk to you. We could sit here and chit and chat, and then I'd be mad at myself saying we didn't even talk about.
We didn't even get to the important part.
We didn't, we didn't even get to that. But I want family. How about this? If you've just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURD radio.com. We are talking with none other than Robin Evans. She is the founder of Chicks with Triggers. We've been talking about protection. This is not about vigilantism or anything like that. We are talking about protecting ourselves and being equipped to do so. We're not talking about anything other than being ready,
Right.
being equipped,
Right.
being educated. That's our focus. That's what we're talking about. So without me going into it, because I've read so much about you, Robin, and Chicks with Triggers, but I would love for you to tell our family members, like, what made you start Chicks with Triggers? How did it come about?
It came about when COVID hit, and I live in South Carolina, and I'm right next to Charlotte, North Carolina, and there was a huge thing going on in Charlotte with human trafficking, and there were these white vans that would pull up to gas stations, and they were kidnapping women from the pumps. And from there, I started talking to my friends, and they always think I'm the crazy one until I'm not, right? But they always, I always talk to them, and I said, y'all know how to use a gun? And they said, no, but my husband does, or my boyfriend does, or my sugar daddy do. And I said, well, how is this going to help you? And so from there, I said, I'm gonna start this business, and I'm gonna start Chicks with Triggers. And I didn't even think people would come. I always say that all the time. I'm amazed by how many people came, and they just came running out the gates, and all of these women wanted to learn. So Chicks with Triggers started off as like a hobby, like a little side hustle. And somewhere along the way, it turned into a purpose.
Oh, it was a purpose from the beginning. You didn't know. How about listen?
I didn't know the master plan, but
yes.
And then I started meeting women, and they have been raped and abused and hospitalized and all kinds of stuff. Not just them, but their daughters have been raped. They've been raped, all kinds of stuff. And so as I meet these women, they're what keeps me going. They're what keeps me spreading this word out there, trying to get women out there to learn how to defend yourself. Because at the end of the day, and I always say it, nobody's coming.
Let me say thank you for normalizing self-defense. I will say that. Thank you. Well, as it pertains to firearms. And because I'll say this, growing up, I had some, like I said, uncles and cousins who were police officers, and they were very, very, they stayed on us. You stayed on the girls. They always stayed on the girls about being cognizant of our surroundings. But I had one cousin who was a police officer who said, all right, come on, you're going to go to the range with me. You need to go to the range with me, because I used to be smaller. He's like, you look tiny, so come on, you're going to the range because you need to know how to protect yourself. And for him, Doc, I am eternally grateful for having him do that. But it also made me comfortable with firearms. I know a lot of women who are uncomfortable.
Well, and a lot of them are just uncomfortable because they don't understand it. They don't know it. They're intimidated by it. So I don't know if it's uncomfortableness or intimidation. And so that's where I try to bring a different aspect to it. I try to make it fun. We start at the lowest possible level that we can start with. And then we do building blocks. So it's kind of like a confidence builder. And so we start low, and then next thing you know, they say, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then we move up a caliber. Then they say, oh, that wasn't so bad. Then we move up a caliber. And before you know it, we had AR-15s, baby, because we start low and start moving up. So I don't throw you out there to the wolves and just say, okay, here goes the gun, and we're gonna start shooting it, because some people get so intimidated by the kickback, the recoil. Y'all call it kickback, but it's the recoil. And some people get so intimidated by that, they put down the gun and they never want to touch it again. So I try to do everything in my power to make this a smooth process. So I even try to go to the range, but not a lot of people are there. So that way people don't hear the gunshots, because the sound itself is intimidating as well. So I try to put all these things into play, so that way when we get there, you're okay. And then by the time they leave, they're smiling, having fun. They sending me pictures of guns online. Should I buy this one? And I'm like, girl, we just started today. You're not buying nothing, but
I know.
But that's how it goes.
You know what? I can relate. I can identify. And let me tell you, family, for all of my family members who are intimidated, who are afraid, just know you are not alone. There are so many others, but there's no reason. It really, it's like anything else, quite honestly, anything else with which you are unfamiliar. Once you begin to educate yourself, because that was the first thing for me, I had to do research. When I thought about purchasing, I should say, when I thought about purchasing a firearm, because I had, I had a guide who was a police officer who was with me talking to me. But when I wanted to invest for myself, I said, let me sit down, let me read some things, let me look at some things, let me go touch and feel. It was a whole like experience for me. But I did it by myself because, number one, I wanted to make sure I was comfortable enough, and that it would be something that I was going to own. I'm going to own this whole experience,
Right.
But with my friends, I keep saying to them, like, don't be afraid. We're going to do this. You know what, family? I do have a point to make, but I'm going to hold that point because we are going to take a short commercial break. Stay with us, though, because we have so much more to talk about. Okay, when we come back, we'll be right back.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
A lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things can never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURD radio.com. So before the break, we were talking with our guest today, who is none other than Robin Evans. What I did not share with you all is that she is a certified firearm instructor for both the NRA and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. Now, I should have started with that, okay? But you know it now, okay? But
we'll get there.
You know, there's so many things to talk about, so many things. But now, Robin, what was that process like? I'm curious to know. I'm going to go back to what I was saying before the break, but I wanted to make sure I told our family members that, like I said, you know, there's so much to talk about. I'm all over the place all the time. But what is the process of becoming a certified firearm instructor for both, actually?
So when I first started, I had to go through the NRA. So I became a member of the NRA, and I became a member for them. So I pay my dues to them every single month. And they fight for our gun rights, in case anybody's wondering what the NRA does. And so from there, I became an instructor for the NRA. So we got to go through classes, different shooting qualifications, everything like that. And then from there, you have to go through the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. And so from there, once I got past all their qualifications, then I was able to actually have classes in the state of South Carolina, certify people to get permits, gun permits in the state of South Carolina. And I've also expanded out to Georgia and North Carolina. So now I do all 3 states.
Can you say Superwoman? Lord.
I didn't want to say it. Look, I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Well, let me say it. Let me say it. Okay. Yes. I love that. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats. Wow, that is really so interesting to me because, okay, so I was explaining before the break for those of our family members who are just joining us that when I was ready to purchase my firearm, I was fortunate that I had a family member who took me to the range, who had taken me to, now it was eons ago, when he began taking me to the range, but I did have that in my favor. For our family members who are interested in possibly going to the range or purchasing a firearm or what have you, and don't have that luxury, what would you suggest be their first step?
I would suggest them finding an organization that would help them do that, because I don't suggest anyone go to the range on their own and just try to pick out a gun and try to learn how to use it. That's dangerous. So I do believe that everyone should have an instructor. I actually have a girlfriend, and she does something called Girls Day at the Range. They're in Philadelphia, and her name is Onari Ajong, and she does Girls Day at the Range, and she always is teaching women, and it's a fun environment where women can come. You can learn about safety, because that's the number one thing, right? You got to learn about safety, so that way you are safe, your family's safe, your kids are safe, everything is safe around here. So she teaches you about safety. After that, she teaches you how to shoot, and after that, baby, we ready. Another thing that's very important, and I'm a stickler for this, you got to know the law. It's not just how to use the gun. The gun is just half of the equation. You have to know the law, because if not, you're gonna get jammed up behind something all because you didn't know.
Oh, thank you for that point. That's so important. That is so important. You're absolutely right. Like I didn't know that what New Jersey is not a carry state. I was unaware. Yeah, I was.
And you can't have hollow points there either. So those bullets that you carry in your gun, those are illegal in New Jersey.
Exactly.
That's important to know, not just what's legal in your state, but the state that you may be carrying to. Because I always tell people, you got to remember to follow the rules of the state that you're in, not the state that you're from. Every state has different rules. So before you travel, you got to look and see what are the gun rules for this state.
I was going to ask you that. I'm glad you said that. So every state has different rules?
Every single state has different rules.
So where would I go to find those rules? Where?
You would just go on Google, girl. Google rules the world. You would just go, you would just go on Google, and you just type it in. Another thing that you need to know is what's your state's reciprocity. Now, reciprocity is like an agreement between states saying, hey, if you allow your residents to come over there with guns, we'll allow our residents to come over here with guns. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's an agreement between states. So that's something that you need to know before you just take your gun and you go to Maryland. Do they accept your gun permit? Because if not, then that's illegal possession of a firearm. Now you jammed up with a gun charge all because you didn't know.
Right.
And they're not gonna care that you didn't know. That's a personal problem.
They don't care about anything. Now I can't imagine that would matter. Listen, they in any event. So now, Robin, I know that you're also you teach self-defense classes as well, right?
Yeah, so we do that for people who maybe they're not ready yet to carry a gun. So some women, they have come and they've gotten their permits, but maybe they're not comfortable enough to carry it. So then we teach them how to use other things. Or if you couldn't have a gun, if you couldn't get your gun, if your gun was in the lockbox and you only got to pick one thing, what can you use that is going to be most efficient?
My keys. So listen. So and I almost had to use them one night too. Somebody was trying to get into my car while I was sitting in it.
And see, and it's so dangerous. I mean, it is just I'm never surprised with anything anymore because it is extremely dangerous, especially where you are. I was reading an article that said between 2020 and now, over 695 women have been shot, and 88% of them are Black. And see, that's a problem.
I didn't even know that statistic.
That's a big problem. And so women have to start fighting back. And that's what I preach about. And I want to tell everybody out there, it's in every woman. It has always been in you. I'm just here to help you manifest it out. It has always been in you to fight back. It's just that you're not doing it. So that's where I come in, and I'm going to push it out of you because you have to start doing it.
Well, Robin, I'm going to ask you to come back frequently. I mean, we're not ready for you to go yet, but I'm going to ask you to, give us our pep talk frequently because, some of us will need it. But I want to go back to what you were sharing with us about Onari, now, is Onari certified as well?
She is.
Okay.
She is. And so, like I said, she hosts something called Girls Day at the Range. And she's always posted it on social media. And it's Girls Day at the Range. And so she hosts that, and you sign up and you come, and the guns are provided, and you can, she has guns for you to pick, and, you purchase the ammo, and then she helps you along the way. But it's a bunch of women, and it's a fun environment. She has treat bags and music going and all kinds of stuff. So that way you feel comfortable.
You are speaking my language. Okay, so family, for those of you whose mouths have just dropped and you are saying, what is Carol talking about? Yes, Carol loves going to the gun range. Carol does. Yes, I do. Okay. But I'll tell you this, though. One thing I will share with my family members is that when I was doing my research, when I was looking, there were a lot of gun ranges here in Philadelphia that would not allow you to test different guns. Because I was saying, well, I don't know about the recoil. I don't know what I'm going to get myself into. Because I went in saying I want a 9mm. I want this. And then I said, slow down, go fast. How about, I was ready. I was so ready. But I said, how about you feel a couple of things, get a feel for some things and test them out. Thank you, God, that I had the common sense to do that. Because I would have jammed myself up.
Right. And I always tell people it's so important to try out guns before you buy them. That's the service that I offer to all of my students, a try before you buy. And that way we try out every single gun possible to know what fits you, what fits your hands, what felt too much, what didn't feel like enough. You think you can handle more power, or do we need to go down a notch? Because one thing that I stand firm on is you can't be scared of the gun and scared of the perpetrator. It doesn't work like that. You at least have to be comfortable with what you're carrying.
Oh, that is so true, girl. I should have talked to you, Robin, before I went to. Now I love my gun, though. That might sound crazy. I know y'all. I know what y'all are saying. It might sound crazy, but I do.
They touching you, but it's okay.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But I do love my gun. I have the one, but it's because I just. Now this is gonna sound funny because my family members are gonna say, "What?" Because you sound like you've been shooting. Well, guess what? I have family members who have firearms, so I'm not unfamiliar with other firearms. This particular one that I have is the first one I purchased for me. So I just wanted to make sure I was clear with that. But you know what? One thing I was looking, when I was doing my research, I was trying to find suggestions for like a first time buyer and that was hard. That was so difficult.
Because you know what? It's up to the individual. And I always say that there's not one gun that fits all. It's up to the individual. So I always tell people, even if you do get recommendations, still try it out before you buy it. Try it out for yourself, because what works for me may not work for you. And I always want to put that out there so people know.
We just had the conversation a moment ago about the about a particular firearm, and I was saying, yeah, well, the butt on that one is a little bigger, and my hand is smaller,
right?
And
Because all
so
of that matters.
yeah.
All of it matters. And so I always tell people, you know, you can get recommendations, but take it with a grain of salt, because you still need to try it out. Like a lot of men will recommend that women start off with these teeny tiny little guns. I don't recommend that. The smaller you go, the harder it is to shoot. So the bigger you go, the easier it is. So I always tell people, some people will come. I have a lot of women that come, and they come with these tiny little guns that are pink and purple, whatever. They bought it because of the color, not because of what it can do. They bought it because of the color. And when we get there, they don't even like it. So then we have to start all over, but they're non-refundable. So now what are we going to do? So we have to learn how to use it, or we got to sell it, or what are we going to do about it? But we can't take it back to the store. This isn't Walmart. No,
right. They don't care at all. Listen, when you buy, that's it.
That's it.
We no longer have a memory of it. It is yours. It is yours. And that's so true. I'm so glad you said that, because I like cute things too, but I was so serious. I said, I had to talk to myself, Caroline. Now, when we go in here, I don't care if it's cute. I don't care.
That's what so many women get jammed up at. They buy it because it's cute. And I always say, we can make it cute later. I got Louis Vuitton guns behind me and everything like that. They didn't start off like that. I bought the gun because I knew it was an efficient gun. And after that, now I'll decorate it. But before that, no, we're not buying it just because of the color. I always tell people that.
And I will say that, because I saw some in there that were too cute. I was, oh, that's cute, but no. I'd like to see this. And then, and you know what? And when you're talking about that too, that's a good point you made about the suggestions. People giving suggestions, but you being diligent about finding what works best for you, because there was a suggestion made to me when I was going to purchase my. I knew what I wanted. By the time I went to purchase it, I had done all the research, so I knew. But there was the gentleman was trying to sell me on a revolver. I did not want a revolver. I did not want. He said, "Are you sure?" Yes, I am absolutely sure that I do not want a revolver. So he said, "Well, let me just let you see one."
You don't need to see it. I don't need to see it, sir. Show me the gun I came here for. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your service.
That's exactly where I said, oh, okay. So we're just killing time. Is that what we're doing? Because that's what I said to him. Is that what we're doing? We're killing time, because I know exactly what I want. And that is with what I am leaving. Right. If you have it here, that's what I'm leaving with. But I'm so glad. That was a good point, that because people will try to, for whatever reason, I don't know, they will try. But I was curious to see how you were going to answer that question, or what you were going to say, because it was so difficult when I was, at the beginning of my search, trying to determine like what the best gun would be for a first time user or owner.
Just there is no answer. It just varies. It just varies. But a lot of people try to push revolvers on women. They try to push the little teeny tiny guns on women. We can do better than that. We can handle more than that.
We can, but why the revolvers though? It's so. I mean, you'd spend more time. Why? Why do they do that?
Well, you know what? And I like now. My first gun was a revolver. That was my dad's police gun, and so he gave it to me. And that was my first gun. So I love revolvers. I really do. I love revolvers. I have nothing against them, but it's not for everyone. Every woman. That's not a woman's gun. Every woman doesn't need a revolver. So like I have semi-automatics. I carry a semi-automatic. A revolver is my backup gun in case my semi jams. But you don't need to have a revolver. You can pick out your own gun. It's okay. It's gonna be all right. Let them know when you go back to the range. It's gonna be all right, sir.
Yeah. Well, oh no, he was good. He was good. He was right. Well, after that, he knew, because he came. He said, "Well, let me see if you know what to do. If you know how to do, what to do with this semi." He said, "This semi." I said, "Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, let's do it." So he was good. He was good. He was good. He was real good. After we actually went into the range and we shot a little bit. Well, actually, he was watching me. It's interesting, though. I will say this, because there's so many men, and I noticed this only from my own personal experience. There were men who were there just kind of like, what's she in here? What's she gonna do?
Oh, always. They think you don't belong there. Like, why are you even here? And you know what? Most of the time, and I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the time, half of those men, they can't shoot worth of shit anyway.
Oh, I was about to say, Robin, I was trying to listen. I was trying to be nice. I was catering.
Well, I'm
to
not.
the
I'm here to tell the story like it is. So
Thank
most of them, they can't even shoot. And you know what? I have women come to me all the time and they say, oh, you know what? My husband been shooting and my husband has all these guns. This is a hands to God story. And they will be like, oh, all the time, like he has all these guns and blah, 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 blah. And we get to the range and I'm like, this is the man you was bragging about. Because baby, he can't shoot. So we need a backup plan. Because if this was your protector, we need a backup plan.
We
need to regroup. We need to regroup. Because this isn't going to work. Because he can't shoot, baby. He can't even load it right. What are you talking about? No. And I'm not saying that's for every man, but there's a lot of men out there that think just because they're men and they have a gun, they know everything. And that's not the case.
Yeah, when you go to the range, you will come across that. Let me just tell you that you will definitely. They are right there, and they're waiting for you to come so they can tell you that you don't know what you're doing. All day for you to listen, family. We're going to take another commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to share some more stories and some more information that we hope will be helpful to you. So stay with us, okay? Because we'll be right back.
I'll never forget the day I nearly died. I was a young journalist with a great career, starting a family. The only way we found out I had any kind of heart issue was when I went into sudden death. My coworkers sprung into action. They've recently been trained in life-saving CPR protocols developed by the American Heart Association. They're the ones that kept me alive until the medics came. They did many tests on me in the hospital after my cardiac arrest and created a treatment plan, all with research from the American Heart Association. I think unless you are a heart disease patient, you may not know how much work the American Heart Association does behind the scenes to save your life. Since my cardiac arrest, I've had 2 more children. I've watched all 3 of my children grow into adulthood. I'm going to cry now. Graduate from college. My daughter got married. I have grandchildren. And I'm still here.
Learn more about the American Heart Association's work at helpheart.org.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Everyone loves a champion. Someone whose performance puts them head and shoulders above the rest. But not all champions wear a medal or hoist a trophy. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. We believe abuse can be prevented by taking a hard look at how we coach, how we train, and how we interact after the last whistle. We have provided over 2 million safe sport trainings. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka The Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food, marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and braised in culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. exclusively on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Independent Black Media.
Hey there, family. Once again, welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We've been talking with our guest this evening, who is none other than Robin Evans, who brought us Chicks with Triggers. Now, family, for those of you who've been paying attention, she is located in South Carolina, but she does have a website that I'm going to ask her to share with us so that we can look for information as a starting point, I would say, because she did also share with us a location in Philadelphia where we could also find additional information. But I want to start first with your website. Would you mind sharing that with us, please?
Sure. It is www.chickswithtriggers.com. You can go on there. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, and it's the same name, at Chicks with Triggers. And I go a lot. I go into a lot of detail about the law and for guns for first beginners and things that you need to know when you go to the range and range safety and everything like that. I talk about that a lot on my Instagram page. Just for people who are not here with me, you're not in South Carolina with me, doesn't mean that we can't still help each other.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And you've been helping me in this conversation, quite honestly. I was so excited. I was telling Robin when I first said hello, I said, girl, I was so excited to have this conversation with you because it's a topic about which I have so much interest in. And, you know, I have a thirst for knowledge with everything as it is, but this particularly because of where we are in today's day and age. So I'm curious to know, you know, before the break, we were talking about the opposition that some women receive going to the range. Were there challenges or was there opposition with which you were met when you started Chicks with Triggers?
There were. Even when I got certified, I was the only Black person in the entire class, but I was the only woman in the entire class. And they, you know, when it came time for the shooting part and stuff like that, I think that they thought I wasn't going to be able to do it. Girl, I blew their heads off, okay?
I know you did. I know you did, okay?
And I think that's what a lot of people see. And I also think a lot of people see, you know, I'm always so jolly and I'm always so happy. That doesn't mean that I don't know how to take care of my business. And so you got to separate the two. You know what I mean? Don't get this confused with that, because we can do both of them. You know, we can be ignorant of both of them, you know? But I always tell people as well, for people that always say, well, we don't need guns, or why do we need guns? Sometimes, and I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart, sometimes violence only understands violence. You have to get violent back. You have to let them know that you ain't the one, that we not playing and today ain't the day. And I think that once the community comes together with that, we can then mellow out some of the stuff that's going on, because there's so much violence going on right now. But that's because people aren't fighting back. You have to start fighting back. You have to know that you're going to stand your ground, and this is what it is.
Yeah, I always say, because I know it's violence against violence, but I look at it as protecting myself.
Right. Because it's either going to be you or it's going to be them. And you better make sure it's you every single time.
Well, there you have that. So let me ask you this with regard to Onari, was it
Mhm.
whose information you provided was with Girls Day at the range.
Mhm.
I'm so looking forward to reaching out to Onari. But does she too teach self-defense classes or?
She does. She does stuff about for domestic violence. She's really big in the domestic violence community. So she does stuff for domestic violence, and she does, the guns and stuff like that. She's at the she's off of 9th Street in Spring Garden. There's a range over there. You can find her, but she's also on social media, and you can find her there too. She's a one-stop shop. She can do anything that you want her to do. But like I said, it's a safe space for women. Women come there, and they are able to learn, and they're able to be around people that look like them and their peers and everything like that. And that's part of the battle too, knowing that you can walk in there and let your guard down. That's where you're able to learn that. That's why I color all my guns. I do a lot of things for my classes personally because women come in there already scared. So you got to let your guard down, because if I try to teach you and you're already terrified, you're not going to retain any of this information because you're too worried about dying today, girl. But I'm not going to let that happen to you.
Oh, see that? Well, so let me ask you this, because one thing that's really important to know is what are the different types of firearms that you conduct training for?
All of them. Everyone that ever existed.
Girl, she said all of them. Which one do you want to know about?
All of them.
So that would be Glocks, AR-14s.
So let me say this, because a lot of people get this confused. A lot of people come to my class and they get this confused. Glocks is just a brand,
right?
Okay. A lot of people think Glocks are a gun. Glocks is the brand. So it's Glock, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer. Those are the brands. Those are not a gun. So people say, oh, look at all these Glocks. And I'm like, girl, that's a Smith & Wesson,
You're right.
So I want to say that. So it's, it's revolvers and then semi-automatics. They're all pistols, and then we have AR-15s and stuff like that. So I wanted to make that clear, because a lot of people, they think that Glock, that's it. Like,
I'm so glad you
got
did.
a Glock, and they call every gun a Glock, and I'm like, baby,
girl,
that's not right.
I'm so glad you did. And you know what? And I'm so glad you did, because I said that, and I'm aware. I'm so aware. There are classifications, there are classes of guns, and there are brands. And I said that because most people say, yeah, I'm, Glock. And I was looking, because I told you, I went and I was like, I want a Glock. That's what because of course that's the cute thing,
right?
Oh, everybody thinks
popular.
Glocks are cute.
They're extremely popular. Yes.
They are. They really are. But the Glock wasn't for me. That not yet. It wasn't.
And another thing I always tell people when you're looking at different brands and you're looking into buying a gun is an external safety important to you? Because if that's important to you, then that knocks out some brands right there. So you have to know what's important to you on this firearm.
That, you know what, that was one of the deciding factors with the firearm that I did purchase, which is not a Glock, which is not a Glock. But it was so important to me because of the safety features. That was number one, because I said, okay, now I know me, I know how I am, I know who I am. How many safety features does it have? What are they? Let me just make sure that I can master them so that I can still be able to use my firearm.
Right. And that's a big thing I tell people. If you are going to you should train with every single gun, right? Because having the gun means nothing if you don't know how to use it. So you should train with every single gun. But if you do have external safeties, you need to train with that. You need to what you gonna say, wait a minute, Mr. Rapist, can you give me a second while I figure it out? You have to be able to train with that to know that when we pull it out, we mean business and it's gonna work.
Exactly. And yeah, that was the whole other part of the conversation that was necessary to say, because there's so many points. First of all, family, it's a conversation. That's all it is. It's a conversation. And it's so important that we have these conversations. And I cannot stress enough, especially in today's day and age, it's about protection. It's about being informed and educated. It's about just being prepared. That's what it's about. That's how I see it. Robin, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us and for educating us and for sharing. I already told y'all. Okay, we're related on her daddy's side. Okay,
on my daddy's side.
Yeah. We're related on her daddy's side. But please do come back and see us, in the future. We would love to have you visit.
I gotta check on your progress.
You hear me? Yes, you do. You hear me? Because I'm trying to hit every single bullseye.
I got to check on
listen.
your progress. And I want all women out there to just know you have to start defending yourself. You have to defend yourself. You have to defend your kids. You have to defend your family. And what's sad, and I will say this, I'm going to close out with this. What's sad is you have to defend yourself against people that you didn't think you would have to defend yourself against. And especially like in the Black community, a lot of women, a lot of Black women are getting hurt by Black men. And see, that's a problem. That's a real big problem. There's turmoil in our communities. Yeah. And so you have to learn how to defend yourself. You have to learn how to put yourself first. So even if you do not like guns, I'm gonna say this, even if you do not like guns, you still need to learn how to use one. You don't gotta love them, but you have to understand their purpose.
That right there. You're so right about that. Understanding their purpose and learning how to use them. That's why I said it makes no sense for me to go out here and buy a gun and not be able to shoot the target at which I aim.
Right.
You know, that you or hurt myself.
Funny, and you know I'm funny about the money. So we're not gonna waste any money around here. So when you buy a gun, make sure you train with that gun. Make sure you know how to handle any jams, malfunctions, anything that may come with it. You know how to do it. So that way, when life happens, if that gun jams on you, you know exactly how to get out of it. You're not panicking because we do this all the time.
Yeah, I suggest too, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Robin, having a class to learn about your firearm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I think that was
vet your instructor, okay? Because not all instructors are good instructors.
Ooh,
so vet your instructor, so that way you don't have some wacko out here teaching you stuff that's not even right.
Like the one that was trying to get me to get a revolver. Listen. Anyway, family, listen.
We already told him. We already done told him.
We done told him. But family, have a great night. Have a great morning. And have a great rest of your day. Remember, though, we're all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Okay? Make sure you join us at midnight, Sunday through Thursday, for another edition of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka The Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food, marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and braised culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. exclusively on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Sam, Elmo. Oh, hey, Julia. You ready
ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's going to play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Yeah, Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's going to play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.